Okay, so welcome, Jenarae, to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for having
coming
me.
on. Yeah, so I know it's been quite a journey to get here to today. To actually be able to carve out some time. I know we live in the same state, but we do live kind of far away from each other. Not that far, but yeah, it's like far enough
No,
where
I mean,
yeah.
you definitely have to plan it. Yeah, and you got a lot going on. I got a lot going on, so it's hard to carve it out for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you can come on today. And so this is Jenarae, everybody. She is my, I want to say like, I don't know, second cousin or relative, honestly, and just family from Guam. We're both from Guam. She is yeah, I got stationed here and I found out she was here, and like it's been good to know that like having family in the same area when your real home is thousands of miles away, it's like good to have when you're like thousands of miles away from home. So like I wanted to bring Jenarae on because I just really value moms who are doing, a lot, and I want to recognize them for it. And um I I want you to get into it yourself, but just briefly, like Jenarae is a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu Black Belt, which is amazing, and she's also a mother to two boys. And like I think I think to be able to bring on any mom who is a BJJ black belt and share like their tips and tricks and just like their overall story is like pretty really valuable to women who tune in. So yeah, Jenarae, if you want to like introduce yourself and just like tell us a little bit more about yourself.
My name is Jenarae Benavente. I was born and raised in Guam, and I moved to the States when I was about 18. I've been living mostly on the West Coast, a little bit on the East Coast. I started training jiu-jitsu about, let's say, like 12 years ago. I started because my cousin JP, you know him, he'd been training for several years at that point. He's always trying to get me to go on the mats, and I was always hesitant. But I did one day, I just felt brave that day, and I was like, yeah, let me go try it. And I went, I tried it, and I was like hooked from that point on. I ended up actually meeting my husband at that gym. We've trained together since. We're both black belts now, and we have a 6-year-old that trains jujitsu, and then our 1-year-old doesn't train yet, but he
That's
will when he gets
awesome.
older.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cute. You guys like met on the mats, and did he like try to armbar you and ask you out on a date or something? Or
No, I don't think it was like that, quite like that.
yeah.
He,
Was he a higher
yeah, I
belt
didn't
than
know
you?
he even was like interested. No, he was white belt. He was still brand new, but then we after we met for a little bit, he ended up getting his blue belt.
Oh,
But he
okay.
kind of got like the cold shoulder from our cousin, because
Yeah,
he's not supposed to date the
that's hilarious.
but it worked out. It worked out.
That's so cool. And this was sorry, where was this at again? Like,
This was in Washington State. Yeah, when we started jujitsu,
oh
we were
yeah.
training and living in Washington State.
And you guys started at JP's gym.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's still the hybrid. It's called hybrid, right? Or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hybrid jujitsu in that area. Uh-huh.
That's so
So yeah,
cool.
we've trained there. He's in the military, so we've
Mm.
trained at several gyms here in California, just with like different duty stations. We trained for a few years in North Carolina. And then right now we train at Alliance Jiu-Jitsu in Carlsbad.
That's amazing. And I'm just curious, like when you go to a gym because of the duty station changes and stuff like that, do you guys usually like have to explain to like the black belt there, like, yeah, we're military and like I'm a purple belt from here, but we're, like kind of because I know that sometimes, or how gyms like sometimes they want to know if you're gonna stay forever, or I don't know. Just I'm curious how that works
Oh,
out with
um,
when you change duty stations, especially as a military family, like if gyms are like or black belts, I mean, if they are understanding, I guess, like if they if you stay for a while and they do want to promote you because you're clearly like experienced, and then like you have to leave at some point?
All the gyms we've trained at have been all like so welcoming. And in fact, like being military, they're like more supportive.
That's good.
We've never had like a gym like turn us away. And even if they did, we probably wouldn't train there.
Yeah.
But it's been nice, honestly, to like experience different gyms and like just learn the styles, some are more strict than others. And then you get
Yeah.
like the different types of techniques. Like they'll show the same technique, but different details. And I think that's cool. And then just like meeting all these people, because like if we go to a tournament, it's like, that's where, everybody from jiu-jitsu goes and you see them and you're like, man, we haven't seen you for years, but you still keep up with each other. So it's cool. We've always met like really supportive, good people through jiu-jitsu.
That's awesome. Yeah. And like I've only been deployed, well, like a full deployment once, and like there was a gym on the base. There was a gym on the base there, or I mean a class on the base, and on the base gym, and like they were really welcoming too. I mean for especially for the on the base, the instructor already knew like he's coughing, but the instructor already knew like, yeah, these kids or whoever, Marines or sailors, when they come through, it's like they're not going to be there for a while. But some of them who don't really have like, I guess, a home gym, he still like acknowledges the promotion if he feels like they need a promotion, I guess. So yeah, that's really great that
Nice.
you guys, because of the military life and how that is, like you guys are still able to train and get in your jujitsu as a
Mhm.
family. And especially for like military, um who listens to this and is like, how am I supposed to train jujitsu in the military? And I had that question on my mind when I joined the Marines. It was like, how am I supposed to, sorry, uh-oh, how am I supposed to like go around and train and excel in jujitsu, if I'm always going places? But it still ended up working out just fine. So yeah, that's great. And then
Yeah, it's been good.
sorry, you said you started jujitsu how long ago again?
It's been 12, yeah, I want to say
12
around 12
years.
years.
That's great.
Yeah, 2010. So yeah, it's crazy to think like that much time has passed, but yeah, it's been a while.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's the year I started too, and in Guam for sure. That's great. And what were you doing, if you don't mind me asking, what were you doing before jujitsu? Like, I
Um,
guess like,
like sports.
yeah, or just whatever, like before jujitsu
I
came
wasn't
into
doing
your
anything.
life.
I wasn't really doing anything so active. I mean, I had a friend at the time that we used to like go for runs and go work out or anything or things like that, but it wasn't
Yeah,
anything like super active. Kind of just, going through life, working, school, and hanging out with the family.
yeah,
Jiu-jitsu, yeah, really changed my life in a lot of ways, not just like starting it, but giving me confidence and all that stuff. But meeting my husband there, like really, really changed my life because that's when I moved away and, we were on our own and kind of
yeah.
experiencing life just us two. So,
That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah. I mean, what was I gonna say? When, yeah, starting jujitsu especially, and like getting hooked. Like people sometimes don't understand from the outside, but yeah, when you get hooked on jujitsu, it's kind of like over. Like for like all your other stuff, it's like I gotta go to training, like gotta wash your clothes,
Yeah, yeah,
do the
yeah,
laundry.
for sure.
Laundry gets your laundry load. Sorry, he's get your laundry loads impacted after that. What else? But yeah, that's great. That's great. What else? What is an experience that about jujitsu, I guess, or the lessons you've learned? Like, I guess, what's one lesson about jujitsu that you've learned that you've applied to your life? Or it doesn't have to be jujitsu, but because you're a black belt and you're awesome. Are there any lessons that you share?
I mean, jujitsu, it's so valuable in so many ways. Like, you know, if you're constantly like training and you're even if you're not consistent, the fact that you even go there and you push yourself, like you basically go to the gym and you kind of put yourself through hell for like the next, hour and a half or that hour and a half. And, and to constantly want to do that, like that alone creates like something in you, like jujitsu has given me so many things. Like I've gained confidence from it. I mean, I feel like empowered, like I feel like I can do other things because I can train jujitsu. But it's not just like, a one-to-one translation is not like, oh, I'm strong because I can do this move. It's like I feel strength within me building because I train jujitsu. And it obviously has to translate to other things in your life. Um, when I used to be like very shy, I didn't really like talking to people, and usually like really truly like my closest friends were my family because I wouldn't really talk to other people unless like, I knew you already. So jujitsu is kind of like opening that for me, like gave me more, um, just be able to like talk to people and
Like confidence
yeah, I
and
don't know. Yeah, confidence, definitely more confidence in myself. And I think that's probably the biggest thing.
I think I always hear people say that like jujitsu gives them a lot of confidence to be able to interact with other people like that aren't really close to them. And I think it's because you're forced to roll with random people on the mats and like you're forced to have a not forced, but like you have to have a partner in order to train jujitsu, well, to really apply it, and like I think a lot of introverted people or shy people, they end up coming out of their shell because, how are you going to train jujitsu if you don't ask someone to be your partner and like be nice to
Yeah.
them and, like, so that's great. No, that's awesome because I've met girls who are scared to do jujitsu because of that reason. And what
Mhm.
advice do you usually give to women who are kind of like afraid of joining jujitsu or a sport or anything like that?
I think the hardest part is actually just starting because I really truly feel like if you go like your first day, I think you'll be happy because most of the time you're not gonna walk into the gym. At least I don't think you are. That like if you come to our gym, you're not gonna come in and we're gonna like give you the stink eye and not want to help you. We're always so welcoming. We want more women to train. I think like if you love jujitsu and you're women, you want more women to train because one, that's like more bodies, but also it's like the things that jujitsu gives you, the strength, power, empowerment, all of that, like you want that for other women, you want women to
Yeah.
experience that. So like the more I feel like women have that, like because I think a lot of times we say, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that, but we're so much stronger than we think we are and that we know. And like to be able to find that in yourself, like you can find that through jujitsu. And I think like I just want other women, I want that for other women. So when somebody comes in, I'm like, come on, try it, you're gonna love it, and we're not gonna like go beat up on a brand new white belt right when they get there. We want them to stay, we want them to feel welcome, we want them to make it their second home, feel like they have a community within it. So I think the hardest part is really just starting. Once you get on the mat, it can be a lot better from there. Yeah.
That's great. And do you teach classes or do you like what is it? Do you just go, train or do you also teach classes?
I help coach.
Okay.
So it just really depends on our timing thing. But like if
Yeah.
I don't have my younger son, I can help like coach my older son's classes.
Oh,
We
that's
usually
great.
have like a couple of people teaching and then a lot of like other coaches, like volunteers that help out. And I love doing that. That's like the highlight of my week when I'm able to do that. It's so fun watching those little kids, like they're little geese and the little tiny
I
boys and
know.
girls, and they like try like a move and they get it. It's so cute.
It
I love
is.
it.
They have so much energy too. It's wild. Like they like run on the mat, then run off the mat, and I'm like, y'all are doing extra exercise running. Like,
They never get tired. Yeah, it's
yeah,
crazy.
exactly. Um, who is someone you call a mentor or look up to? It can be in jujitsu or in life. Um, but yeah, do you have like a mentor in jujitsu or in life that you know that you look up to and why, I guess?
Well, I wouldn't say like I have a single person, like one mentor. I think these days I'm like really inspired by a lot of people I'm surrounded by. Um, there's just so many people I think that like they have a lot of qualities or attributes that I'm like, wow, that's really cool, like we have our professors who are constantly like challenging themselves and testing themselves on the mats. He goes and he trains hard, but he still teaches like all of the classes, but still gets his training in and still goes and competes. I think that's inspiring. I'm inspired by like the mom who brings her kid to jujitsu, who literally sits there for hours and just watches her kid train. Like, how supportive is that? Like that's super
Yes.
inspiring to me. I'm like inspired by, we have a lot of business owners at their gym and like that they constantly they're facing challenges. They have to overcome all these obstacles, but they persevere and then they're doing great. And I don't know, I'm just inspired by that. By the single mom, I have a friend who's a single mom and she trains jujitsu and she works like 60 hours a week, but still tries to make it in the gym. Like, what's like that's crazy, that's like super
Wow.
inspiring because it's like this is just something, it's not making you any money, it's something that you have to push yourself to do. Like, and I don't know,
Exactly.
I just think that's super cool when I see people do that, like, and then like support other people who do that. I'm inspired by that. I mean, I do have like a lot of great people that I look up to. The owner of our gym is like super nice guy, amazing, like he's a true great leader. Like he sets the
Yeah.
example for everyone. And I do find that very inspiring. He's a really good guy, and just so many people we train with. I'm just like in awe of all of them for everything that they do outside of the mats, but still be able to make it in and train or be part of the jujitsu community. Everyone like brings something and adds to that, and I don't know. We just have like the best group of people in the best community.
I love that because it really shows that like um like everyone who starts jiu-jitsu and gets on the journey of it, it's like it is empowering and it does kind of like push people to, sorry, he keeps dropping things. It just pushes
It's okay.
people to like make sacrifices. Hold on. Hey, Baba, come say hi. We're just gonna bring him on because he wants to. It pushes
Hi,
people.
Zeke.
Say hi. It pushes people to make sacrifices that you like outside of in any other like I guess situation like you said, like a single mom, right? Like there are a lot of single moms out there that don't have community and don't have something that I guess makes them feel like they can improve in and progress in, because it's hard to be a single mom, but to have a community like jiu-jitsu to come to and just feel like at home and like feel like their kid is safe and has also like a chance to be a part of a community and make friends and like kids jiu-jitsu classes. I mean, I think that is something that the reason why jujitsu is so awesome is because it provides that community and family, and it kind of just holds everyone accountable in a very positive way. So, um, and
Yeah, for
and I feel
sure.
like to be a black belt and to like when you're a black belt, as I've talked to a lot of black belts, and like a lot of them do kind of acknowledge those parts of jujitsu more so like at that level instead of just like
Mm.
I'm doing jujitsu and I'm going to compete and be a champion and that's it. Like there's a
Yeah,
lot more to it for sure. So that
yeah.
is awesome. Oh, you're fine. Sorry, he's like he wants to get up and see. Look, hi.
He wants to be on the
Um,
podcast too.
I
Hi,
know,
Zeke.
right? Here, let me unblur my background. Why not? Yeah, I'll just see my messy place. um, what's another one I have here? Do you actually, yeah, I wanted to ask if you could competed recently, or if you, how was your competition? If you did compete beforehand, or I know being a mom has been kind of busy for you, but yeah, do you compete, and what's your favorite competition to compete in, like gi or no gi, and yeah, were there any competitions you like and competed in?
um, I haven't done any competitions at black belt. The last one I did was brown belt, and that was before COVID, so it's been a while. Um, I've only competed in gi. I'm not like a very active competitor. I would say I did quite a few at brown belt, but um, a lot of them are they have the community out there in North Carolina. The jiu-jitsu community out there is like really close. North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, that whole area. There's a big tournament. They do super fights. They're called Toro Cups. And I used to do those. I did like three, I want to say, of those. They're a lot of fun and it's really cool. It's a cool tournament because they use some of their proceeds for charity, um, which I think is so awesome because they're
That's
really
great.
actually like impacting people. Yeah. Those were my favorite to do, honestly. I've done IBJJF. I haven't had like great success with IBJJF. Maybe that's why the other ones are my favorite because I'm more successful there. But yeah, I did
Same here.
brown belt
Same here.
tournaments. Yeah. So yeah, I like the super fight style. They were like 10 minutes long, submission only, and then if no submission, it was like points after that. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed those. I don't know, I like that style a little bit more. But I enjoy watching IBJJF obviously in all the tournaments, all the matches, but I do want to get better at competing. But
Yeah.
right now it's just not like a priority in life. So
Yeah. It definitely doesn't have to be. Like, I think a
yeah.
lot of people look at jujitsu and they're already introduced to the sports side of jujitsu, and it's okay. He's dropping more things every time I talk. He like everybody looks at the sports side of jujitsu and they think like, oh, I need to do that, but they really don't have to for sure. And
Hmm.
like even for me, like there's definitely more pressure when you're doing like kind of the more bigger scale like competitions and you know, like I did IBJJS the worlds and when I was blue belt, and then I did Jiu-Jitsu World League this past year, and there's definitely like I don't know like this more of attention, but then I did like Copa de Marianas when it came here to San Diego in 2019, and I guess it was a I don't know if it's because like a Guam like home like a tournament that I'm familiar with. I and they were playing like ukulele music in the background. I was super
Oh,
chill in that
nice.
tournament, and like I won all my fights in that one. But I've also been training for a while, and the at the time I was blue belt. But anyway, I just felt more like I don't know. I just went in there and I was like, okay, it's just like an open mat, and but this the
Like
vibe
less
can be
pressure.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. The vibe can definitely be different in certain competitions for sure. Like some of them do feel like just like an
Mhm.
open mat vibe, and some of them feel like this is the biggest tournament of my life and there's so much pressure. So
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. For sure.
No, I like that. Super fights are really fun too. So especially like
Mhm.
the longer ones. They kind of opened up more opportunity for you to really think and to and
Mhm.
like yeah, okay. Okay, I guess she's talking. um yeah, here's Oreos. Here's an Oreo thing. What do you like to do outside of jujitsu that helps with your jujitsu?
Um, so I usually try to get like 3 days of jujitsu training a week. I mean, it depends because both my husband and I train and we have the kids, so we have to switch off.
Yeah.
But we'll do that. And then I try to do a little bit of strength and conditioning. So if I can get like a kettlebell workout in there, and I usually just try to do that like 3 days a week. If I do 3 days a week, I'm happy.
That's
Um,
great.
and then some strength training if I go to the gym for that. And then I feel best like if I get in a run, at least one run a week, I'll feel good about that. I recently picked up I'm learning how to surf, and
Ooh.
that's been so fun. And I feel like that can help with jujitsu. I mean, I feel like jujitsu helps with that, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I like that too. I think it all kind of feeds together. The more we're like in tune with our body, we can perform better like on the mats or I mean, strength training obviously it helps for obvious reasons and whatnot. But I don't place too much reliance on like I don't put a lot of pressure on myself to go out there and, hulk out on the mat or anything. I'm just,
Yeah, for
trying to
sure.
train to have fun.
Yeah, like surfing especially, I mean, a lot of Brazilian surf, and like some of them are just like blue belt jiu-jitsu, and I don't know, I feel like it's the surfing out there in Brazil that some of them are just incredibly good. I definitely think surfing helps a lot, so that's great, and I hope you can teach me one day because I do not know how to surf. It's funny
Oh,
because
I
we're
don't either. I'm learning.
right. It's funny, we're from an island, and like everyone's like, you don't know how to surf, or you're not good at swimming. I'm like, no, like just because you're from an island does not mean you're good at surfing or swimming. Like,
True.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So what is your favorite technique?
Right now, I really have been lately, I've been into close guard. I used to play a lot of spider guard, which I still like, but I've been really, really like appreciating how powerful close guard is. Um, there's just so many options from there, man. And it's just like such a good, strong position. You're on the offense. And like if I'm rolling with a bigger dude, especially like if they're brand new or even if they're blue belt, like you're going to my close guard
Yeah.
because we're not playing that game.
I feel like
But yeah,
too,
close guard, I really like close guard.
and when you say options, you mean like submissions, or do you mean like transitions to submissions?
Man, everything. You got sweeps, you got submissions. I mean, if you can control someone in their close guard, and it's hard to get out of close guard, you
Yeah.
know, hard for the other person to get out, and they're just working to get out of your guard, and you're basically, working your moves, getting your sweeps or submissions. So it's so much more powerful for the person on the bottom than the top.
Yeah, for sure. And do you like to do what's your favorite submission from close guard?
I've been working, I really like just trying to work anything from with when you have the overhook.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you have like someone's like, posture broken down and then the overhook. So like usually, I'll try for the close collar, which I'll never get. And then you can go for your sweep if you get the late, but it sets up so many things. You go from there, then you get your arm bar. I mean, that one, I love that one. That's one I'm like really like if when I'm playing close guard, that's what I'm trying to get right now.
That's great. Yeah, and that's very, I would say that's very like foundational jujitsu, like
Mm-hmm.
like working from close guard, a lot of people definitely kind of like underestimate it or don't do use it
Yeah.
a lot, like the like legit close guard, the overhook, like you said. So
Mm-hmm.
um
It's so underrated, I think. Like not a lot of people like understand really how powerful it is. Cause like even if you can't get your sweep, you're setting up like your X guard or you have so many different things, so many options from there. So yeah, close guard's my jam right now.
that's great. And okay, yeah. And what's the best piece of advice you've been given in jujitsu?
In jujitsu, I had to think about this. So when I was a white belt, I was doing like my second tournament and we had a black belt that was training at hybrid for he was stationed there. So he was there for 3 years. And he would like try to get me to compete. He was trying to get me to compete. I'm like, no, I'm too scared. I'm nervous. And he's like, what do you have to be scared about? Nobody cares. And I was like, damn, you're right. No one cares. And
That's
I
funny.
still think about that to this day because it's so true. Like you going out there, especially if you do like tournament style, there's like 6 matches, sometimes like 20 matches going on at the same time. Like the people that are watching you, your coaches, your friends or whatnot. But if you lose, are they going to think anything differently of you? No. And especially at like lower belts, like, and you're just starting, like truly no one cares that if you
Yeah.
win or lose, you're the one that puts pressure on yourself. You're the one that's like, doing all this extra stuff. But like, I think that was probably one of the best things I've heard because I was like, man, I was stressing so much. And he was like, no one cares. And I was like, okay, I got it.
That is really
Okay.
good advice. That is for sure. Because yeah, that's really good advice. Because no one really does care, honestly. Like, especially like there's so many
Right.
other people competing. It's like, but it's good to have like
No.
your coach on the side and coaching you and people, at least one person, like, yeah, like cheering you on the side. So yeah,
No, yeah, that tournament ended up being like uh that was wild. That was a fun tournament. It was so much like action and energy and like we had our whole team on like my corner of the it was super fun. Like
that's
everyone was cheering
awesome.
me on. So And then, I can just remember no one cares. And I'm like, well, why is everyone looking at me?
That's yeah. Everyone cared on, like after that. If so here's this is kind of like a more so like what do they call them? Kind of like in podcasts, they kind of call them like rapid fire questions. Maybe not. I don't know. It's just like a question that makes you think a lot more. So, if you lost
Okay.
all material things in life and had to restart again, what would you do first and why?
That's such a hard question. Um, I don't know what like the first action would be, but currently, like right now, I'm very blessed. I live a really, really great life. So I would probably just do whatever I needed to do to work back up to the life that we live now. Um, if I'm able to train jujitsu, if I have my family, if I'm able to, you know, if I still have my job or do something around my job, if I had that, if I had all those things, I mean, I will be fine. I don't need like to live in a fancy house or drive fancy cars or anything. I would be happy just having those things.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I feel like it's important to think about things like that because it kind of helps you understand what you value most.
Mhm.
Why Okay, you've explained this before, I guess. But why do you train jujitsu and why should other women train jujitsu? I guess, and maybe if you want to condense that into a couple sentences.
I train jujitsu because one, it's fun and it allows me to, um, you know, what is the word? It allows me to express this part of myself. So, I have jujitsu, I have my family, I have my work, and this brings out, I'm allowed to get out. It allows me to get out like aggression if I had any, or if I needed a stress reliever, I go to jujitsu. It allows me to, be healthy. It gives me the opportunity to connect with all these different types of people. I think women should train jujitsu just purely for the confidence and strength it gives women and other people. Like you never, you go and you look at a movie, you're like, I don't think I could do that. And then you can do it. And it's like, dang, I can do so many more things than I thought I could. And just that
Yeah,
alone, like the empowerment you feel from that alone is like, for me, I like to want people to train jujitsu because you can't find that other places and you can't give it to somebody. You have to find it for yourself. So I think jujitsu
exactly.
can get that for you. Yeah.
That's awesome. And another question that makes you think, what is your definition of a black belt?
Uh, the definition of black belt, somebody who's experienced the highs and lows of jujitsu. So you don't just experience the good, oh, I've tapped everybody out, I'm the best, but you know what it's like to struggle, you know what it's like to be the nail, you know what it's like
Yeah,
to
yeah.
um, not want to train but still train. Most importantly, somebody who's humble and is always willing to learn, who is constantly learning. The sport has like evolved so much in the last 10 years, and you have to be open to those things. You have to be open to new ideas, to new techniques, new details, new what all of that. So a black belt is someone who can do that.
That's awesome. Yeah, that is definitely like something that people should think about when they consider becoming a black belt. It's like it's definitely not an easy path for sure. Where
Mhm.
and I guess in regards to jujitsu or in life, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I see myself. I see myself, my family still training. I'd love to like take on a bigger role, like as far as coaching, like help coach more. I think that part is like so satisfying, and it's so rewarding to watch like all these little kids grow up and be little killers. And, like one day you're the one that's coaching them and then before you know it they're like taller than you and you're looking up to them and it's like what the heck, it's cool to see. And I see myself with my family, whether it's going to jujitsu or other activities and whatnot, just kind of just mostly being like still part of the jiu-jitsu community. It's just part of our lives now. It's like ingrained in
Yeah,
us.
that's amazing. Well, that is amazing, Jenna. And I think a lot of girls and just anybody will listen to this and be super inspired because like you said, you've done jiu-jitsu for 12 years now and you're gonna keep doing it, and people should definitely know that like it's definitely a lifestyle and it's a long-term commitment, but it's something that's definitely worth it. So
Right.
yeah, well, thank you for coming on. That's really all the questions I have. Is there any last advice or any last words you want to share with others listening?
Well, thank you first for having me. Thank you for pushing through. I know that this is just to get to this moment. So,
Right.
um, eh, yeah, and I just for anybody who's wants to train or is training, there's hard days, there's tough days, there's good days, but all of that is temporary. You just got to push through.
Yay, thank you so much. And I hope to see you very soon, even though we're literally only like an hour apart. We should definitely see each other very
I
soon
know.
and train together for sure. Jason and I always talk about it. It's just like a matter of us driving up there, getting to train with you.
Yeah, you guys should for sure.
Yes. And
For
yeah,
sure.
thank you so much, Jenna. And is there do you want anybody to be able to, I guess, keep up with you on social media? Or if not, if you're private, it's okay. Like private person, that's totally fine. If anybody wants to keep up with you, is there a way to do that? Or just like, no, you don't want anyone to keep up with you?
I mean, if you have jujitsu stuff, I'll add stuff, but my account is private. It's just Jenarae B on Instagram, and that's
Cool.
it.
Yeah, and it's yeah, she'll decide if she wants to approve you or not. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you so much for
Okay.
for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.